just want to give a shout out to all my homies.
Actually, no. Let's not give a little shout out to
Just because we don't have any friends doesn't mean we can't
Red Lobster, a.k.a. Gingerbread Boy.
She's part of the hater crew.
Hater, oh.
You hate us because we're trying to holler at the homies.
This is Brandon Barris from the Morning Buzz here on Radio.org. Good morning, everybody. It's the Morning Buzz here on WHRTradio.org on a fantastic Monday morning. Here in the studio today is our producer, Chris Del Piero. If I said that right, I hope I did. And Kayleigh and Lizzett. And here in the news today is actually a baby, a really sad story in New York City. A baby that just got delivered had a car crash, and unfortunately has passed away. Our thoughts and prayers go out to their family. And also Kayleigh's going to tell us about a sinkhole that happened under a house in Florida. Today the house is finally getting demolished, and unfortunately the man that lived in the house, his body has not yet been found, so they're calling the search off. And also Lizzett is going to tell us about a 2-year-old who got cured of HIV. So let's start with Kayleigh on the sinkhole.
Well, a giant sinkhole engulfed the bedroom where a Jeff Bush was inside on Thursday night. His body remains buried somewhere in the massive sinkhole that stretches about 20 feet wide and estimated more than 50 feet deep. The authorities in Florida had to make the heartbreaking decision to stop searching for Bush after his odds of survival became abundantly clear. A county official said it's not really possible to recover the body, and crews will clear the debris so engineers can get a better look at the sinkhole and figure out the best way to fill it. And they will be finishing demolishing the home on today, and they started yesterday. Actually, sinkholes are a pretty common problem in the state, according to Florida Department of Environmental Protection, because of the kind of like the bedrock it's made out of.
Right, and I don't know who I heard it from, but they were saying that Florida, in a number of years, obviously, is gonna eventually fade away and go down into the ocean. I don't know how many years they're talking, but and this is certainly a good enough sign to say, well, if you're getting sinkholes under your house, there's some type of problem to be worried about.
Because
it lies on limestone, Florida, and also there's clay above that limestone. And if the clay gets too heavy above that limestone, it collapses. And that's what causes a sinkhole.
Because it's being weighed by acidic groundwater, so it's kind of just being dissolved.
How long, does it say in the news story how long the sinkhole actually was under the house, or was it just a random Sunday and a hole appeared and all of a sudden his house is under the ground? No
one can really know for sure because it will take years for the water to eat away at the limestone.
Right.
And one day, just on last week, on Thursday, all of a sudden just the bedroom floor just collapsed, taking the TV, taking the bed, taking the dresser, and sadly taking the man, Jeff Bush.
All right. Thank you so much, Kayleigh, on the information on that story. We'll definitely keep you updated here on the Morning Buzz. And now here is Lizzett with a 2-year-old who has been cured of HIV, and this is the first time this has ever happened. So Lizzett, tell us more information on that.
Yes, a baby with the virus that causes AIDS was given high doses of 3 antiviral drugs within 30 hours of her birth. Doctors knew the mother was HIV positive and administered the drugs in hopes of controlling the virus. 2 years later, there is no evidence of HIV in the child's blood. The Mississippi girl is the first child to be functionally cured of HIV. Researchers announced Sunday. They said they believe early intervention with the antiviral drugs was key to the outcome. A functional cure is when the presence of the virus is so small, lifelong treatment is not necessary, and standard clinical tests cannot detect the virus in the blood. So the finding was announced at the 2013 conference on retroviruses and opportunistic infections in Atlanta. The unidentified girl was born HIV positive to a mother who received no prenatal care and was not diagnosed as HIV positive herself until just before delivery. We didn't have the opportunity to treat the mom during the pregnancy as we would like to be able to prevent transmission to the baby, said Dr. Hannah Gay, a pediatric HIV specialist at the University of Mississippi Medical Center. So that's really, I find that amazing. Like, God bless the child, because that's such a such a bad disease.
A disease that has been uncurable for the past number of years. How long do you think it will take for the world to have a permanent vaccination for HIV and AIDS and all those horrific diseases? How long do you guys think it will take?
Well, since this happened, hopefully not too long.
I mean, with the technology that we own today and all the stuff that we have, especially in the United States, is pretty amazing. Kayleigh, what do you think?
I hope it's soon, but I don't really see it being in the next 2 years, 3 years.
Right.
I mean, we've been dealing with this since the 70s.
Exactly.
Especially during the 80s and 90s. Yeah.
We sure hope that vaccine will be available to us sooner than we can expect. Yeah. Well, another story that happened in New York City: a baby boy delivered by C-section after his parents were killed in a car crash over the weekend has died. Police said Monday the infant, rescued from his dead mother's womb after the hit-and-run crash in Brooklyn, had been in critical condition. His parents, Nathan and Razzie, were both killed in the crash early Sunday morning. Police have said they're searching for the occupants of a BMW that plowed into the cab the couple were riding in. What a horrific story. Definitely a sad story for the city. That's why when people drive reckless, and who knows whether this guy was texting or whether he was drunk, intoxicated, who knows, but and unfortunately in this situation there happened to be a baby boy in the car, and well, the rest is history now, but it's really horrific and such a sad story for the city. But moving on from the headline news, here is Today in History with Kayleigh.
Well, Mr. P's favorite president, Lincoln, was sworn in for his first presidential term in 1861. In 1933, FDR was also inaugurated. In 1952, Ronald Reagan and Nancy Davis were married. And in 1966, John Lennon sparked his first major controversy. In England, no one really took much of a notice of the John Lennon quotation that later set off a huge media frenzy in the States. You can chalk it up to fundamental difference in religious outlook between Britain and America, or just a big difference in sense of humor. Whatever the reason, it was only after the American press got hold of some of his words 5 months later that John Lennon comment first appeared in the London Evening Standard Today in 1966, erupted into what is now known as the Bigger Than Jesus scandal, which brought on the semi-official to the end of the giddy phenomenon known as Beatlemania. The quotation during an interview was kind of a mark on how Christianity was kind of going down, and it was, "Christianity will go," Lennon said. "It will vanish and shrink. We're more popular than Jesus now." And that sparked huge controversy for Lennon and the Beatles over in America, but it took 5 months.
Back then, the Beatles were the Drakes and the Lil Waynes and
they were bigger.
Yeah, you're probably right. They were even bigger. And for us today, there's so many artists that are very good. But back then, it was just all about the Beatles. Like, if you lived in that time, your favorite group, your favorite band were the Beatles. So today we have more of a variety of stuff that we can listen to. But back then, it was all about the Beatles. And I'm sure Mr. P can say that I'm correct, hopefully.
Well, there was a lot fewer groups, so, it was pretty much all about the Beatles and a few other groups. Today we have thousands of groups, so...
Right.
It could be argued that they sound the same.
Yeah, that could be argued as well. Well, on our today's birthday segment, we actually have a birthday girl herself here in the studio today. It is Kayleigh Rogers'
Wow, I
birthday
did not know
today.
that. Happy birthday,
Happy
Kayleigh.
birthday, Kayleigh.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's your 17th birthday, right?
Yes.
How does it feel to be 17?
The same as being 16.
All right. Well, I haven't heard that one before. Usually it changes really quickly. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
What are your plans for this evening? You got anything you want to do? Anything you want to get? Any birthday gifts? Tell us.
Go to dinner. My parents said they got me a present, but they're not letting me see it or tell me anything about it.
So it's a
they're like,
surprise.
oh, like, we have a surprise for you. I'm like, what is it? That's not really a surprise, is it? I'm like, ha, that's nice.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday, Kayleigh. Hope you have a great time
you.
at dinner if you go, because I know you have HESPA tomorrow, right? You were telling us?
Yeah.
What a fun exam that is.
Fun.
Yeah.
It's
That's
actually torture.
It's such a silly test.
silly. That actually is a great birthday gift to have a HESPA the next morning. Couldn't ask for anything better than that.
Yeah, but that means I just have to postpone celebrations to Friday.
Right.
Get the entire weekend.
Well, Kayleigh is going to have her new feature on one special landmark in New York City. And what is that, Kayleigh?
Well, Kayleigh's going. Let me just interrupt. Kayleigh's going to give us on Monday and Friday. We're going to be talking about New York City for a while, since we live right next to, considered the greatest city on earth. And Kayleigh is going to highlight some of the important aspects of New York City, its architecture, its culture, good places maybe to eat, see plays, a variety of things. So this is the first day of that, and we're looking forward to it. So Kayleigh, take it over.
Well, the main thing I'm going to be focusing on today is the Empire State Building, because it is quite possibly the most famous and recognizable building, not in just New York City, but quite possibly even the world. It's on 5th Avenue between 33rd Street and 34th Street. It is whopping 1,250 feet tall. The cost of the building was around $50 million. It's usually described as 102 stories tall, with 85 stories of commercial and office space, and including an observation deck. And it was built. Starting the building was in the booming 20s, and then once the Depression hit, and it hit hard, that's when they continued to go over the building, and it really gave workers much needed money and job, and it was kind of a monument of American initiative and motive. And it's like, you would work so you wouldn't starve, and that Empire State Building was an enormous monument and award for almost the entire country, of like what we can do even in the face of something as disastrous as the Great Depression.
Exactly. Mr. P, you have any comments?
Well, the Empire State Building, believe it or not, went up in a year.
Oh yeah.
And the Depression era, people needed jobs, and they really worked very hard to put that up. They've got a lot of Native American Indians to work on the high beams and the heights of that edifice. But the Empire State Building, most people thought the location of that building was put in the wrong spot. 5th Avenue and 33rd Street at that time was not in the center of action. They thought it should have been downtown Manhattan. So there was a lot of critics that said nobody would fill that building up, they wouldn't get any tenants, which was kind of proven wrong. But it's a modern marvel, really.
Well, now it brings in so much money, especially from tourists who want to go on the Sky Tour.
Right.
And even if you just walk down the street, and just crossing on the street, you'll get so many people saying, "Hey, do you want to go to the observation deck? Do you want to do this?" It's like, it brings in such a huge profit.
Right. Plus, I think it's basically at least 90-80% filled, with tenants. So it was a great success. And when I look at some of these projects around here, like Tonelli Avenue, which has been going on construction-wise for maybe 7 or 8 years, the Empire State Building went up in 1 year. They shipped everything, a lot of the steel from Pennsylvania, and it was just like a assembly line, really.
Well, there was more motive to complete the building because it was a paycheck that everyone wanted a piece of.
They needed, and
like right now, it's like when they started the construction on Tonelli Ave, it didn't seem like you needed to complete it as soon as possible. But now it's become such a nuisance that people just got used to it.
Yeah, and it's amazing to see cones in a road for many, many months with no viable or visible construction being done. So anyway, a great King Kong, the great masterpiece film in 1933.
Oh yeah.
Utilized the Empire State Building for its finale. And it is just an incredible tribute to the industrial technology complex of the United States, really. And it really stands as probably one of the landmarks of the entire world, not just New York City.
Oh yeah.
All right, well, Kayleigh will have many more special landmarks in New York City in the upcoming days.
Well, Friday, because she will not be with us.
Yeah, because she has HESPA, the birthday gift we forgot
You
about.
You have to do the show without me for the next 4 days.
Shucks.
3 days.
But yeah, on Friday she's gonna tell us about some other landmarks in the city that are also very special. But right now we're gonna do random facts, and my first random fact is gonna be women blink nearly twice as much as men. Do you guys know that?
No.
Look at that. Learn something new every day. Oof. Random facts are pretty special. All right. 68% of Hostess Twinkies is air.
Oh, well, we won't know that anymore.
Well, yeah, we don't know that anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
not in business. But I think somebody will pick them up.
They stopped making them already?
Yeah.
Hostess went bankrupt and they had to liquidate all their assets, and so
like,
people are trying to buy it.
There's no more in the store, or there's still some left?
There's no more of the entire company.
Let's just say if you find a Hostess Twinkie, you could probably make a lot of money if you sell it. Let's just that's how
valuable.
Valuable.
Do people have to take it out of the stock?
Well, after it runs out, they can't keep on shipping it because they're not making it anymore.
Right. So they didn't just take it out, right? So there might be some left.
Maybe. I mean, who knows?
There are some companies that are trying to buy stock in the company itself. So.
And I heard they're selling them on eBay for like hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, I know. If you're a really big Twinkie eater, I guess you can go on eBay and search for a Twinkie and get one for $100. But
yeah, I wouldn't eat it. I would save it, and a good investment probably.
Yeah, and we'll.
Apparently, like a new Twinkie can survive a nuclear holocaust.
A new Twinkie?
No, a Twinkie can. It's been rumored that a Twinkie can survive a nuclear holocaust.
That and roaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roaches.
I can't
Those
eat
roaches.
That a lot, though.
What, Twinkies?
I have to eat it with chips inside. Like, I just like putting them inside.
Like, I had my first Twinkie last year. Because I just don't like Twinkies.
I've never had a Twinkie, ever.
It's good, but it's like, if you eat too much, it's like overpowering sweet. So you need to, like, put chips inside of them, like.
That's kind of odd.
You don't put chips in
your
sweets?
Twinkie.
I always put like Lay's in.
Pretty sure nobody's like, hey, let me just try putting chips in my Twinkie and see how it tastes. But moving on from these amazing random facts that we bring to you here every morning, in sports, and I think a forgettable weekend for the Knicks, losing to the Heat, 99-93. Mr. P, I know you were absolutely thrilled. Sense the sarcasm in my voice. Yeah. But Mr. P, is it a little bit a downfall for the Knicks, having been that they've beat the Heat twice and now they lose to the Knicks?
Well, I was upset.
To the Heat.
I saw the game. I was upset with it because they did have a 16-point lead in the first half, and the second half they really struggled to score. I think they only scored like 35 points in the second half. J.R. Smith was chucking them up, and not many were going in. And LeBron came on big, you know. LeBron took over the game, and that was the name of the story. The Knicks built a nice lead due to Jason Kidd hitting his threes for a change, but in the end, you know, Miami came ahead. I think they're going to have a lot of trouble if they ever get to the point with Miami.
Yeah, I mean, J.R. Smith, as you said, he was chucking up shots. He went 3 for 14 from three-point range, which is a disaster.
Right.
And from field goal, he went 5 of 18.
Right.
So obviously, not the best shooting night from him. Carmelo Anthony did very good at the free throw line, 13 for 14. He had 32 points. And Mr. P, as we said before the weekend, when Carmelo Anthony scores 30, 40 points and has 8 turnovers and 1 assist, the Knicks would lose.
Yeah.
But if he has 15, 20 points, has 8 assists and 11 rebounds, for example, well, who comes up on the winning side? Most likely it's going to be the Knicks. So, I mean, it's obviously a great stat for Carmelo Anthony having 32 points, but at the end of the day, is that going to get you a championship?
He had 24
No.
points in the first half, so he only got 8 points in the second half.
Right, and if the Heat or any other team shut down Carmelo Anthony, who are you going to go to? J.R. Smith? Mr. I shoot 3 for 14 from three-point lane? And, so it's definitely a sticky situation for the Knicks. They have to figure out what they're going to do.
They need a consistent second scorer. They really do. They need somebody that, if they're double-teaming Anthony or whatever, you got a second consistent shooter. J.R. Smith can go on fire, but he's so streaky that, and he keeps on chucking them up.
Yeah. At some point, he has to say, you know what, obviously it's not my day today. Let me make it out. Let me pass the ball. Or
stop with the threes.
Yeah,
or
stop.
Two.
Right. Exactly. Well, tomorrow I'm going to do a segment on the greatest basketball players to ever play and where they are now, because it's we're a little bit time constrained here in the studio. So we're going to wrap up the show and go to Kayleigh with the weather.
Well, right now it is 31 degrees, but it feels like a chilly 19. It's sunny outside with decreasing cloudiness and windiness. The temperature is supposed to be steady near the mid-30s, winds coming at you from the west-northwest at 15 to 20 miles per hour. Tomorrow you can expect sunshine and a few clouds. The high is supposed to be 46 degrees with the wind at coming from the north at 10 to 15 miles. 5 to 10 miles per hour. Now there is a winter storm hitting the Midwest, and it's supposed to be coming up towards us later on in the week, but we can just expect some rain. Like right now, the winter storm is called Winter Storm Saturn, and it will lay in heavy snow from Montana to the Ohio Valley. So. And
what does it say? Which days it should be coming in? Or
Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
Wednesday afternoon?
Because
fantastic.
Monday night in around Mississippi, and then Tuesday going in towards the Great Lakes in Michigan.
But we are getting a little bit warmer. I think you said today's going to be 30, the high 30, and tomorrow high 40s.
And then mid-40s.
So we are getting a little bit warmer.
Are we going to see spring?
Mid-March.
Forget spring, summer. When are we getting 80-degree weather, 90-degree weather?
God, I really wanted to
summer.
100 degrees.
Yeah, I just can't wait
like
for
this weather.
I don't like this weather. I don't like getting snowstorms every week and being stuck in my house. I don't know about you.
Yeah, me either. I love going out. I love wearing little baby shirts, enjoying my.
I'm sure you do. On that note, thank you everybody for listening to us today here on the Morning Buzz. Always keep it locked here on WHITradio.org. Thanks everybody for joining us today. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Brandon. Let's clear that up for the people out there.
Clear the air.
So I have to clear the air. We hate you. We don't like you. Never have. Never will.
What's the what?